Ooh. Nice emblem.
All right, just so you're aware, everything is live now.
So how was South Carolina?
Oh, it's too short. Far too short.
They're like a month.
How's mom? How's
Yeah.
mom?
Good. She came back up this time.
Oh,
So she came up. Dad stayed down. He's not ready yet.
yeah.
I can't blame him.
Yeah,
Nope.
we're going on a cruise in August. So hopefully that
Hopefully, yeah.
we've already had to cancel the first one, so we rebooked it for August. I went, yeah, we're going somewhere. I'm not staying.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
I just canceled mine to Ocean City, Maryland too.
Oh,
Oh,
I know.
well,
They're
we're-
not having any pools in Maryland this summer, so
hmm.
without a pool, I can't take a 2-year-old down there, that's for sure.
no.
They have a pool at 180 River Street. I heard
Yeah.
the rates are cheap, very cheap.
I think
They got
that's
a
what I
really
should
nice
do
one
that.
They got a really nice one at 11 Morgan happening too this week. So
Oh,
There you go.
good.
you're welcome to it.
Bring your own towel.
With a ladder that you don't have to turn around. You just go up and in and up and out.
It's amazing what a difference that makes.
We've decided that's it. We're just in a real one.
That's what we finally did. Enough with putting it up, taking it down. It's just,
We wound up putting it back up, and then we had a leak. So we had like windows on it around, and it
oh
started
no.
where I'm like, oh, so we just put all that water in, and it's all gonna go ground.
Gone.
You know what?
Unfortunately. Well, city will make a little money on me. That's all.
I was gonna say, again. Hi, Ryan. How are you? Oh, you're muted. There you go.
There we go. How's that? How's
Very
everybody
good.
doing?
Good. We've not yet gotten started, so you've got a few moments. So,
Sure.
okay.
So the plus, like I say, part of it, you're shoveling the wrong patch. Unless you split the bill with the townhouse.
Excuse me.
Carrie, I see you changed your name.
And it's the admin account, so it just kind of lives there.
I thought that was Lisa's name. Because when all the water bills come in, the checks, she's City of Oneana.
Hi, Jason and Sarah. How are you? Oh, you're muted.
This is Margot Heck.
Hi, Margot. How are you?
Well, getting better.
We have a few more minutes before we get started, so we'll get to everybody, okay?
Okay. No, they can hear whatever you're saying when they start the meeting here. Are you comfortable or too cold? But that don't mean they're open, Mom. They still have official business to take care of. The banks are open, but they're not open inside. It's the same thing.
Kitty cat?
Yeah.
Cute.
You heard from Marjorie today?
I had emailed with her probably about 10 minutes ago, and she had requested verification on the link. So
Oh.
Hmm.
So she's got her job cut up for her.
Oh, there I am.
Marjorie just texted she's having difficulties connecting. So I sent her an alternative. We'll see if she's able to get in.
That was Brian this then, I think.
Can anybody hear me?
I can hear
We
you.
can. How are you?
Hi, Brian.
Oh,
We can hear you.
this is my first Zoom, so
Well,
Don't feel
welcome.
bad. We're all novice.
Marge, bottom left, you're muted.
Hmm?
Carrie, can you unmute her?
Yep, I'm unmuting her now. She's got to wait for the command to go through. It's not letting me control her. There we go. Try now, Marge.
Okay, can you hear
Yeah.
me? Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
All
There
good.
Technology
she
is
is.
technology. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
No.
So, first of all, I just want to verify with Carrie, all of the board members who are there. So
You've got
just, do you have everybody? Could we do a roll call? Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, great.
Chair Merzick,
Yes, here.
Commissioner Palmer,
Here,
Commissioner Livermore,
Here.
Commissioner Levinson,
Present.
and then
Great, thank-
Councilmember Drenick.
Here.
Yep, hi, Mark. Okay, sorry about all the delays. Hopefully we won't have to do this again.
I agree.
Our agenda is, we're going to be a little bit flexible based on who else is here. I noticed that Brian Fawcett is here. The Crones are here. Who else do we have on, Carrie?
You have Ron Wood representing the Masonic Temple, and then you have
Okay.
Margot Heck for property located on Baker Street.
Okay, great. We'll probably take
And-
them in.
Ryan.
And Ryan LaBarbera, he's doing a water sewer bill appeal.
Okay, great, great. Let's take the water and sewer appeals first, just so that he doesn't have to hang around. We are not going to consider the water and sewer appeals today. We are going to table all of them until the July meeting when we can meet together. And also so that we can offer homeowners the option of having their meter tested, and we aren't currently able to do that. So I would entertain a motion to table items 3, 4, and 5 on our agenda until the July meeting.
Second it.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Good to me.
Carrie, would you just read the roll?
Chair Merzick,
Yes,
Commissioner Palmer,
Here,
yes,
yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
thank you. Then now we'll take the rest of our agenda. We are going to start with Brian Fawcett's appeal on his electrical and heating inspection,
Marge, Ryan.
correct? That's
Yes.
number 1 on our agenda. Brian, we read I'm not going to read your appeal into the record this
Uh-huh.
time just because of technology, but
Right.
we received your appeal, and the question we have is, do you have any record of when you paid to have your furnace and electrical inspection done?
I do.
Okay, if you could submit that to the code enforcement office, I'm going to entertain a motion that we vacate your appeal pending documentation to the code enforcement office. Not that we vacate your appeal, we vacate your administrative fees pending provision by you to the code enforcement office that the work was done in a timely fashion before August 16th. That's my motion.
So,
Can can I interject there?
Yes, yes.
We still don't have a furnace report, and the electrical still hasn't been cleared, at least on our end. Now, maybe Brian has paperwork to that fact, but I just thought that, and he does not have a CSE.
Oh, okay. Well,
right. let me
Speak to that.
just say that John Hester has been the person I've corresponded with, met with. He came down, he had the inspection himself, so he took care of that. That week, I followed up with the electrical inspector, Mark, somebody.
Hogue.
He came down, did the inspection, wrote up a couple of things that needed to get done. He was going to file the inspection report, whatever. And then same with Gary Richter. He came down that week, did whatever he was supposed to do, said he'd file it that week as well. Apparently, none of these guys filed anything. And then I got fined for it all. And at present, other than the electrical submission, the furnace has been replaced like 2 months ago. So that's brand new in the building. The housing inspection itself, that was on John's shoulders. So he had no problem with anything. So the only thing I see out there is the electrical inspection. I thought I gave most of that documentation to John months ago when this first came about back in maybe January. So on my end, I've done everything I should do to conform to everything. And I did that within a week or two of when John first visited me a year or whenever that was ago. He should have a file of all the information, documentation about everything that was done and the dates. He should have it in hand.
Okay, based on this discussion that I'm hearing, maybe we should table this one more time and see if we can't get all of this documentation in place. And then we can possibly take some action at our July meeting. So Brian, would you get together with the code enforcement office with all the documentation you have and just make sure that the dates correspond with what you're claiming in your appeal?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just email John back again and say, you have all the stuff right there. I mean, you have it. I don't know why you guys don't have it.
No, that's not the issue. The issue is that the inspections were turned in, but they were very, very late. And what we're looking for is documentation that it was done way back when. You know, whether you have a canceled check or whether you have I mean, we need some documentation to show that even though those inspections weren't turned in on time, that they are they were done in appropriate fashion.
I got it. And I should, I have my records, they're in my QuickBooks somewhere. I just got to get the starting date and you show on a payment to Mark. Payment.
Let's hold off on our decision then until we're sure that the code enforcement office has what they need, and then we can take, make whatever action. Okay, is that all right with you, the rest of the board?
Yes.
I have a question, actually, if you will. In the actual letter of appeal, there was a statement saying that he's requesting a refund of $1,816 paid on this issue. I just want to clarify, we're not looking at that. We're just looking at the $397 and the $1,419.
That's correct.
The whole thing was a penalty assessed on me for doing the right thing, and the inspectors doing the wrong thing, which is nothing other than coming here, inspecting, and then not filing the proper documentation.
Yes, but you haven't paid the $1,816.
Yes, unfortunately I did. Unfortunately,
Oh.
I wasn't going to pay that. No, I paid that money, and my bookkeeper paid it. I told him hold off until I look into this, and he paid it. I said, no, that's not right because I didn't do anything wrong here. That's
Okay, I got it. You know what? Thank you, Dana, for picking that up. We'll consider that in July.
Okay, it's one more month. It's not going to make any difference at this point.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, I've got Brian here though, Marge.
Yes.
We don't have any documentation that the furnace was ever inspected. I mean, yes, you could have a receipt, but we don't have the furnace inspection form.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and the electrical violations, we have the list, which is a short list, but we still
Yes.
don't have anything that says they were ever cleared. Even
Okay, well,
though-
that's why
even
we
though-
asked him to come in and figure that all
Right.
out with,
Yeah.
we'll
I'm just
know
letting
that.
him know that we don't have anything, even though he says we do. We don't.
Okay, all
Well,
right.
no, I gave John the information I had, but I never saw any, inspection papers. They all said they were filing it with you. That's their job, not mine. And they
Right.
didn't do that. And I
They
got
didn't-
penalized for what they didn't
Well,
do.
and then,
So
then
I
it,
don't
then
have
it,
copies of that.
then it falls back on you, Brian, to get with them to get it in.
Yeah.
That's
Have
not
they
our
not sent you
responsibility.
copies of that yet, Mr. Fawcett? Have you not gotten copies of that stuff?
No, they just said they were filing it with the city because that's what they came and
I was
did.
gonna
And
say I
they,
caught that,
you know,
'cause
it's
we don't have-
basically,
that's why I was
they'll
looking
take
up. We
care
don't-
of that. That's our
we don't
job.
have it in here
and
either. No
I
plumbing.
left it at that. I didn't know I had to follow up with anything. They
I would
came
follow-
and did
if I were
what they
you
were
as
supposed
the
to do.
homeowner, I would
I
follow-
thought I did what I was supposed to do.
I would follow up with
Oh,
them,
you
get those
talked to
copies so
Brian,
that you can
yeah.
get it to the city. That's what we're looking for to get rid of these fees for you.
Right.
So Gary Richter, I talked to him a couple months ago. Mark, I hadn't got a hold of, but John said something like he was going to see him. And this is several months ago. He has, when I came in, he has a folder of papers I made copies of to give to him so he could file this with you guys. And I thought you would have seen at least that stuff, but
No.
I can find a check I paid Gary for here the day he came here and inspected everything, and the check I paid to Mark, I can give you that, but I don't have anything else beyond that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what we need. It's all of that we need. So thank you.
Yeah.
Would you work with the code enforcement office, and then we'll try to resolve this at our next meeting.
All right,
All right, thanks a lot.
all right, we
Thanks,
can do that.
Brian.
Okay,
Okay.
signing off, I think.
Yeah, thanks a lot. The next item we have is the Masonic Lodge.
Marge, you have an
And-
outstanding motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Motion to table this for,
I need a
I'm with-
second.
Second.
I'll second it.
Did you want to say something, Marge? I didn't want to cut you off.
no, that's all right.
Chair Merzick,
Yes,
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yes.
thank you.
Passes. You're
Thanks,
welcome.
everybody. Now, we have some photographs of, we'll now take up the Masonic Lodge appeal for their snow removal. And I don't know if you can provide the photographs for the board members.
I can, yes. Pull them
Okay.
up here.
He has
So I'm
them.
sharing the right thing.
While you're doing that, Dana had a question. These photographs, and maybe Joe, you can answer this. These photographs,
Okay.
they aren't necessarily a before and after.
Right. Okay.
So could you talk to us through these photographs?
Obviously before. What was the thing, John, with before and after, or nighttime, or?
We don't have night.
Okay, yeah, it was a 2-day snow removal. That's what. We'll get to that as we show them.
Okay. This is before.
Yes.
Okay, well, just keep scrolling through, Carrie. Thank you very much.
So can I ask what day this was? Because I had listed in the letter for the February 14th.
Mm-hmm.
And what time of day was that?
This is February 13th, correct, Marge?
It was the 13th.
Yeah, this is for February 13th, Ron.
Okay.
Looks like the timestamp on the file is 4 o'clock, but that doesn't mean anything, right, Carrie?
No, but that's when I transferred it over. There were some difficulties in a different department sharing. So they transferred over to my computer at that time.
This was the day of the 13th.
Oh, okay.
It didn't appear that we had any after.
That property is the question that I had. That's not
Yeah.
their property. That's the town inn's property.
Yeah, townhouse, and so that's not even there, so
Right,
error on the contractor.
Correct.
that's right. Do we have any after pictures?
John?
I don't believe Dan supplied after pictures. I could probably get him to get those to us. This was a complaint made, and I believe maybe either Sarah got it or Steve got it, and Steve immediately ordered it cleared.
Got it.
There again.
So we had a couple complaints all in a row, including 2 members of the city hall staff, complaining that the sidewalk was icy. So we just told the contractor to go do it. It was after 9 a.m. Obviously, we're not like camped out at places like the Masonic Hall to remove snow. The only reason that we sent it was because we had people that actually work at City Hall the day in the post office complain that that stretch of sidewalk was treacherous.
And the bus office as well.
Okay, the city cannot clear these sidewalks itself, and therefore we hire a contractor. That's why the cost is pretty significant, because it's a private, agency, plus we add 50% to the bill. It's pretty obvious that on that day, the sidewalk needed clearing.
Yeah, I see that now with that. See, I was under the impression that was the 14th, not the 13th.
Yeah, no, it was the 13th. So
now, with part of the townhouse's sidewalk being cleared off, should they have some of the bill then?
Mike, that's why I had my hand up. I'm sorry, this is Dana Levinson. I was going to question, Marge, is this amount the correct amount because of the pictures that we're being provided with? One of the pictures that Carrie pulled up is the townhouse after it had been cleared. It was clear. I think it was the last picture you pulled up, Carrie, if you would take a look at it. So can we get the footage and make sure that we're properly, see, that is cleared, and that's definitely not their property. That's definitely the town in property. So is there a way that we can make sure that the footage that they're being charged is the correct amount?
Good question, yeah.
John, are you looking for that or not? Or don't you have it?
I'm actually looking on the GIS. I want to see how these parcels are separated.
okay, could we let you do that and move on to our other and then come back? Is that okay with you, Mr. Wood, if you just hold for a few minutes? Okay, great. Let's move on. We have a couple of properties that are requesting unsafe designations in order to remove garages. And I think we have the Crones here.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Well, we're going to take you next. So most of us have driven by your garage and taken a look at it. And we're happy to go through the process of unsafe designation. There, it's obviously a candidate for it. So we have a two-step process. And that is, first we have to determine whether it meets the city criteria. And then if we determine that it meets the criteria in Chapter 92, then we can order it demolished, and all you have to do is get a building permit for that, I think. That's all you have to do. So, so board members, let's go through our checklist. And John and Joe, if you would kind of chime in if there are items that you feel we can include. So from the photographs and the personal visits that we've made, it appears that the garage qualifies under B, which is 33% or more of damage to supporting members. C, those which have improperly distributed loads upon the floors or roof, and they have insufficient strength to be reasonably safe for the purposes used. D, those which have been damaged by fire, wind, or other causes. And let's see. I don't know if the 5-year unoccupied can qualify under this, or whether that has to be a residence. So I would say B, C, D, and probably egress based on the deterioration of the entryway. So I would make a motion that this garage qualifies under B, C, D, G, and I guess that's it.
B, C, D, E.
B, C, D, and G.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I would entertain a motion to declare it unsafe based on those criteria.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, thank you. I'll be the motioner. So let's call the roll. Any additional discussion from the board?
No.
Okay. Carrie, you can call the roll.
Chair Merzick,
Yes.
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. And we would order this building demolished according to a schedule determined between the property owner and the code enforcement office. That gives you Mr. and Mrs. Crone, the flexibility to do this when you feel you can.
Okay, great.
Okay, you'll just have to go work with the code enforcement office to get, just make sure they know what you're planning to do.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So that's my motion. My motion is to demolish based on a schedule to be worked out with the code enforcement office. And appropriate getting rid of the debris. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Phil. Let's vote on that.
Chair Merzick,
Yes.
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. Okay, great. Thanks for Mr. and Mrs. Crone for coming in.
Thank
Good
you.
luck on your possible new garage.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Whatever. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we're back to the Masonic Temple. Any additional information, Joe or John?
Marge, I was just looking on the Otsego County website, and I've got 2 different maps that I can look at. One is our city tax map, which simply, shows the blocks.
Right.
The other is an actual satellite image with an overlay of property lines.
Sure.
They're not completely accurate, and for the most part, they are.
But what's the linear footage? What are you finding in the linear footage?
Hey, Joe, do you have that 2012 footage?
Yeah, can I get to it with them? Let's see. Gotta stop and think where it is.
So what I'm asking is, does the linear footage line up with the invoice that you received from the contractor?
You take a look at that invoice.
Let's see, what's the tax number, Johnny?
It is.
Oh, I have it. Never mind. I got it. I got it right here. 106,203. Grand. Says 206 feet on the Grand Street side.
Okay, 206 plus whatever's on Main Street. What is the, can you pull up the invoice and show it to us? The actual invoice?
If they forward it to me, I can. I did not receive a packet for that property.
Okay, well, why don't we put this over till next time? I think it'll give us a chance to get the documents we need. I apologize, board members, that I did not get any more on this than I did.
Okay.
Okay, shall we just put it over? Is that all right with you, Mr. Wood? Can you come back in a month?
Yeah. Is there
We
a
should be able to.
date selected or just that it's in July?
First Thursday.
Always the first
Be the
Thursday.
First Thursday.
And we should be in person by then, so it makes it a lot easier.
Okay.
I mean, we'll be at City Hall. I think.
Right.
Okay, thanks a lot.
I mean, I don't want you guys to be charged incorrectly. That's why I questioned it.
Right.
Yeah,
I understand.
I really appreciate that.
Is it again going to be like at 4 p.m. or later?
No.
4.
Always
4
at 4?
o'clock. Yep.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Now, does it have to be me or can some other representative of the building be there?
Any other representative.
Okay. All right. I will let them know then. Okay.
Thanks so much. And thanks for coming today.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Do you have a motion for tabling it, Chair?
Yeah, make a motion to table the appeal for snow removal at 318, 324 Main Street.
I'll second that.
Okay, thanks.
475, John, 86. I guess we'll just get it next time.
Chair Mazick,
Yes.
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay. All right, great. Now we have the property at 30 East End Avenue. Is Mr. Chang here?
No.
I think we can still act on it though, because it's at his request.
Marge, we have a phone call waiting. Mrs. Heck is on. I don't know if you want to.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. That's exactly correct. Let's take that property. All right. Hi, Margot. This is Marge Merzig. Thank you for being so patient. We have a new process in the city of Oneonta called blighted property designation. It was enacted about mid-year last year by the Common Council. And your property at 13 Baker Street kind of falls in that category. You've received a letter from us indicating
Yes.
the items that fall into that category. And let me review those with you. And board members, as I review this from the letter that went from the Code Enforcement Office to Mrs. Heck, you can follow along. These are the, each one has the point value. So the first one was determination by the Code Enforcement Official, Engineering Department, Fire Chief, or City Attorney that the property is at a condition which poses a serious and immediate threat to safety, health, and general welfare of the community. That's number one. And your property is in pretty bad shape.
Yes. Are you talking more the garage or the house?
Both. Both.
Okay.
The second one is the fire chief has made a determination that your both buildings are a fire hazard. And we have a letter from the, we have a notice from the fire chief to that effect. The second one is more of a neighborhood item. The property is creating substantial interference with the lawful use or reasonable enjoyment of other spaces within a structure, building, or within the surrounding neighborhood. In other words, your street itself, your building creates a situation where their own houses are devalued. The street loses its character to a degree. Then the property has been declared unsafe by the City of Oneonta Board of Public Service, and that was quite a while ago. And there hasn't been a lot of work done on the property since the designation that the property was unsafe. So that unsafe declaration stands. The property is determined to be unmaintained based on the evidence of the persistent and continued existence of these conditions. Broken or unsecured windows, broken or unsecured doors, entryways or exits, litter or debris surrounding the house, overgrown grass or overgrown shrubbery, broken roof, siding, accessory structures, including the garage, peeling or deteriorated paint, persistence of vermin, rodent, harborage or infestation, presence within an outdoor area of the improper storage of refrigerators, washing machines, sinks, stoves, heaters, boilers.
Okay, none of that stuff is outside. There is no refrigerator, no stove, no any of that outside of the garage or of the house.
Okay, well, we'll take your word for that. We drove by, and it is hard without going on the property to see. Lumber,
Right.
materials, dirt, debris, trash, garbage, uncovered, trash or garbage. Based on the inspection by the Code Enforcement Office on May 22nd, the following conditions were found to be in violation of Chapter 217. And the point total is taking off the improper storage, 320 points. To be designated as a blighted property, it requires 100 points. So you're significantly above that. The process works this way. Should we determine, and it looks like we're going to today, that your property is in this condition, you have responsibility to provide to the code enforcement office a plan for how you're going to correct these conditions. And you go on a list called blighted property list. You should make plans, should we determine it's blighted, to sit down with the code enforcement office and let them work with them to come up with a plan as to how you're going to fix the property. So
Okay.
that's your job today. If we determine, it looks like we're going to, that your property is blighted, your job is to sit down with the code enforcement office and come up with a reasonable plan for how you're going to get rid of these conditions. So,
Okay.
so you don't have any action to do today, but you will if we determine, and you should make an appointment as soon as possible to sit down with the folks in the code enforcement office and come up with a plan. Okay?
Okay. That's
All right,
okay,
so-
right?
Right, so.
All right, now when are they going to be available that she can do that?
You just have to call the office. The number is 433-3435. Make an appointment.
See what I
Okay.
can for you.
They will be available soon.
I
When are
emailed
you
the
guys going to
invoice.
be available? Do you know when your office is
Huh?
opening?
Marge, if you just want, she can take this number down.
Okay,
It's 431
Hold on, let me get a pen.
okay.
431, what?
1328. That's a direct line to me.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and just make an appointment to talk with them, and they'll give you a little bit of assistance on how to formulate this, and then you'll have to assure them that you're going to move ahead with this. But first,
Okay.
first we have to have a motion. So I will make a motion to declare this property blighted based on the criteria outlined in the just a minute, the May 22nd letter to Mrs. Hecht from the Code Enforcement Office, eliminating one item 22. Okay?
22A and B, or 20, you have two sections under 22.
22A.
A, you said?
A is being removed. I
Just
second.
that one section that was listed under 22. Okay, that is the motion to declare this property blighted. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you. Carrie, I think you can call the roll.
Chair Merzick,
Yes?
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
There's nothing to argue. You got to talk to the code enforcer. Ma'am, is there any grants or anything that she can apply for to get help with that?
I
Hold
can't
on one moment. Sorry, Commissioner Levinson, I couldn't record your vote.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry, Chair, go ahead.
Okay. That's something, the question you just asked, Mrs. Heck, that question can be answered by the code. They can at least tell you who to call to talk to the code, when you talk to the code enforcement office. Okay, they'll at least give
Okay.
you a contact. Okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
So I'm sorry, does that mean that you guys will also send us a letter about this meeting today?
Yes,
Okay, and then she just needs to contact the code enforcer.
yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, so we're still on our agenda. We have the property at 30 East End Avenue. Again, this was requested by the property owner that we consider declaring this property unsafe. I think we have some photos. Thank you. That's great. So let's go through the criteria. In this case, it's A, those whose interior walls or vertical structures lean, list, or buckle. C, those which have improperly distributed loads upon the floors or roofs. And that's it. It's not a very long list, but because the property owner has requested this, I think we can safely go ahead. So I would entertain a motion to declare the garage at 30 East End Avenue. I will make a motion that the garage at 30 East End Avenue to be declared unsafe based on A and C of Chapter 92.
I second it.
Okay, thank you. Should we call the roll?
Chair Merzig,
Yes.
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yes.
Thank
Motion
you.
passed.
Thank you. In consideration of the request by the homeowner, I make a motion that we order this property demolished, or this garage demolished.
I second it.
Okay, thank you. Additional discussion? I don't think so. Would you call the?
Chair
roll?
Merzig,
Yes.
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. Related to our number 8 on our agenda, 18 Hazel Street. In this regard, we have received a letter from our city arborist indicating that there are significant hazard at this tree at 18. Actually, there are 2 trees. Second tree. Yes, the 2 trees at 18 Hazel Street pose a hazard to the public because they significant dead sections of the trees hang over the public sidewalk. And so I would like to make a motion based on H of Chapter 92 that we declare the tree at 18 Hazel Street unsafe.
Trees too, right?
2 trees, right? Thank you. 2 trees, the black cherry and the sugar maple.
I would like to second that motion.
Thank you, Madeline. I think any additional discussion?
Marge, I was going to talk about 18 Hazel's condition.
Okay.
So when I went over there, I saw the trees. I saw a large branch on the roof. I also tried to video a chipmunk going into the side of the trim. It's obviously got a nest in there. And I guess a neighbor called in. I think they reported it to Steve that there are just so many chipmunks coming out of that building that she was concerned about it, and it's pouring over onto her property. So I guess I was looking for solely based off the fact that it's been vacant for probably 7 or 8 years, an unsafe declaration because I want to move to blight it next month.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. I didn't understand that from you. If it has been vacant for more than 5 years, we have an automatic, it's automatic. So I would like to amend my motion to declare the trees unsafe, and we'll have a separate action related to the trees, but also the building itself to be unsafe based on any building or structure which remains vacant or unattended continuously for a period of 5 years. So we're going to add K to the motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. I think we can vote now.
Chair Merzick,
Yes.
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson,
Yes.
passes.
Okay, thank you. So as far as the remedy, I think we should order the property, we should order the trees repaired or trimmed so that they do not pose a threat to the public within 30 days. And then order the, I mean, we don't know whether the property is more than 50% damaged or decayed. So we can't really determine at this point what to do about the property itself, other than that it should be somehow secured. So let's order the tree repaired and the property itself to be repaired, or a plan for, well, I guess the repair plan, and we should do it within 30 days, I think. Do we know who the property owner is?
The property owner
John,
is,
do we know who the property owner is?
yes, the
Oh, they're-
property owners are a couple that moved out of the city when I was saying the vacancy. We started continuously shoveling them in January of 2014.
Oh, okay.
So they were out before that period of time. We did notice they were vacant. It was vacant then, but none of our mail has been received at their forwarded address. And I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head if their taxes are paid. Let me look it up real quick here. But I did want to mention also the reference to the complaint about the chipmunks, if the board wanted us to get anybody to look at that.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah.
That would be a good thing to add.
Marge,
Yes.
while we're waiting for John, I didn't know if you wanted to double check, but I believe the arborist recommended removing the trees
Oh, yeah. Okay.
totally. I just,
Let me see.
I don't have it in front of me. I just thought.
They should be removed. Yes, I see it. It's in my opinion that both trees are unsafe and could cause injury or damage to people, vehicles, or in case sugar maple, the structure, they should be removed. Okay. I mean, that's something we can do and charge it against the, in fact, maybe that's what we should do. What do you think, board?
Are they paying their taxes, John? And are they paying the snow removal fees?
He's checking.
No, actually, the last paid year was 2018. 19 and 20 are not paid.
Oh, so this is going to the county.
So I contacted the Department of Financial Services on this property to see if it's a zombie property under the New York State zombie law.
Mhm.
And they said that it's not. So this is held by an entity that is not, that doesn't fall under that definition.
Okay.
So it could be bank owned, they could still own it. It could be in a bankruptcy proceeding.
Yeah.
If it goes into bankruptcy, then the county can't touch it until it's closed out. So if it's in bankruptcy, then the county can't even auction it. Which is
Okay.
with 38 Cedar Street.
At that point, who would pay for the trees that have been removed if we remove them, and who would pay for all the snow shoveling that's been done at that point?
It'd be levied to the county.
Be levied to the county.
So the county would make us whole, and the idea that they would collect when it was auctioned. Unfortunately, some of these properties that end up tied up in bankruptcy, they might sit for 7 years and not have any forward action. And the county in that time can't auction those properties.
Well, that may be a really good argument for us at least doing some kind of anti-vermin action and taking down the trees. I mean, because and I know you're planning on moving ahead with blighting, but if we don't have a responsible property owner, where's that going to get us? I mean, I'm not opposed to going ahead with that, but let's see if we can't take some action more quickly to protect the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Agree.
Is that good with everybody?
Agree with you, yes.
Okay, so I think that my motion's pretty close, but I make a motion that we have the trees removed. We order them removed, and some kind of rodent control be immediately or within 30 days acted upon. If not, I think we should do it. So that's my motion.
I second that motion.
Okay, thank you, Madeline. Any other discussion?
I have a question. Why don't we just do it?
Well, because we have to offer it to the property owner. I mean, if you want it to be 10 days, do you want it to be 10 days after the receipt of the letter?
I don't want it to be 30 because we know that there is no
I
owner
agree.
taking care of it.
I think 10 days is enough.
Another 30 days is gonna.
So can we, I mean, we can amend the motion. So Madeline, would you go along with amending the motion to be 10 days instead of 30?
Definitely. Yes, I will.
Okay, all right, I'm good with that. Okay, so, Carrie, are we making you crazy?
Nope, but just so we're clear, the trees being removed, is that on the onus of the city to be completed immediately, or is that falling within that 10-day window?
That's falling within the 10-day window.
10-day window,
I
okay.
mean, it has to. We have to give them time to act, and then we do it immediately.
I want to make sure the letter's worded appropriately.
Yes, I appreciate that. Everybody good?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on that.
Chair Merzick,
Yes.
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yeah.
Passes.
Okay, great. That takes care of number 8. Talk to us about, I got no documentation on 185, 187 Chestnut Street. So John and Joe, do you want us to put that off until our next meeting? What's going on there?
No, let me check something here real quick.
What's that?
Well, let's wait on that. Is the 32 Grand Street garage also an owner requested?
You have anything on that, Joe?
32 grand?
Was that the one that Lakeview Builders was going to do and has subsequently been
That's
removed?
24.
That was
No, that's
24.
This is 32 Grand Street. It's farther down the street. The garage is accessed from Prospect.
No,
I don't have any documentation.
Okay, well, let's table 32 Grand Street. I make a motion that we table 32 Grand Street for more information.
Second.
Thank you.
Chair-
Yep,
Chair Merzick,
yes.
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Passes.
So we've taken 24 Grand Street off because the owners decided that they were going to rebuild the garage as it is. And so now we're back on 185, 187. So John, talk to us about 185, 187 Chestnut Street.
Okay, so this property has been a problem not only for code enforcement, but the current owner. He seems to have squatters in there at this point. I think the entire building is filled with squatters at this point.
Oh.
We initially got involved with 185 because we had somebody who was actually paying their rent who recently moved out, submitting complaints probably once a month on it. And her complaints were that there was trash being thrown out of the window, which I've personally seen somebody throw something out the window. And the owner wasn't repairing the conditions at the property. One being they have 2 interior public stairways that a thermometer, a fire alarm system component, and hallway lighting is in, and the tenants or somebody in the building disabled all of those. So the owner's manager called and said, we've had the police out here multiple times for vandalism to the property. I don't know what to do. You guys keep writing me up for trash and, tenant complaints based off of this stuff. And he's gotten to the point he's pleading with us. And then he had a recent, he had an electrical issue come up. I don't know, Joe, was it maybe a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
A dangerous electrical condition where a tenant tried to tap in to the service and almost fried the building and killed himself in the process. So they got an electrician in there to fix that immediately, but since then they've had a sewer backup, and Gregory Plumbing responded, ran a snake, and I guess they found it was a tenant-related issue. I contacted Mary Ann in the Department of Public Service. She said they didn't actually respond out there for that because it wasn't on their side. It was completely on the owner's side. And I've posted the building. The postings have been ripped down. And at this point, I've talked to Steve. It looks like we want to get an unsafe declaration there based off of the fire hazards in the building, the disabling of equipment. I couldn't tell you about the electrical system if it is whole yet. I know the one problem was solved. As far as I know, the sewer waste in the basement hasn't been cleaned up, and the trash continues to pile up on that property. I drove by there the other day and it's the same condition. It's just scattered trash everywhere.
Also got boarded up windows in the front of the building that are like plywooded up.
Right. And that happened. The property manager called and said I got into an argument with a tenant and he smashed the windows.
Wow.
So what we're looking to do is get an unsafe and a vacate order. And if the tenants don't vacate the building within a set period of time, we were talking about summonsing the tenants.
Okay, what is your period of time? That will be our next action, but what is your idea of how long you want to give them? 30 days? Is that too long?
I was gonna say not any longer than that.
There's sewage in the basement.
Yeah. I would be okay with 15 days. If you feel that's appropriate. I know he's not going to be able to get these tenants evicted.
I know because of the COVID.
He's not getting paid either, correct?
I'm sorry, what was that, Dana?
Definitely not being paid by any of the tenants. That's where Ian used to live.
Oh, okay. As far as I know, none of the tenants are paying rent at this point.
He originally was supposed to put the building up for sale, and I don't know what happened from there, but he then put some, it became a student rental only. And then all of a sudden it became half squatters, half not, and it's a mess.
I think it's time to do something.
Okay, all right.
The problem is, if we ask to vacate, what happens with the COVID? Is Department of Health or whomever placing people anywhere?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't think that evictions are supposedly on hold. Health and safety, whether we could get an action based on unsafe. I mean, that's why you're asking for it. So let's determine whether this is unsafe. Sounds like it is.
If it's unsafe, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, okay, I'll make a motion based on D, E, F, and I. That is damage, dilapidated, light air and sanitation facilities inadequate, and because of their condition are unsafe, unsanitary. I mean, the structure itself is okay. It's just the sanitation and egress fire part of it is bad. So I make a motion D, E, F, and I, we declare it unsafe.
And G is okay?
I don't know. I mean, how do we know?
We don't know really, but I agree with you. Is it okay, or I guess we should know.
Have you ever been in the building, John?
I've been in the building. To be honest with you, there are parts of the building, and I'm actually trying to look up G right now.
G is those inadequate facilities or egress in case of fire or panic, or those having insufficient stairways, elevators, fire escapes, or other means of escapes. I know there's fire escapes on the outside of the building that are metal, but on the inside of the building, it's almost like a makeshift. It shouldn't be that many apartments, to be honest. It doesn't really.
So the stairways, if we're talking about egress, my biggest concern would be that in a building of that size, you're supposed to keep those areas lit at all times. Every single time I've been there, the lights have been
out. Right.
Okay, good. So we'll add G. So we'll
add G to it. I think so too.
D, E, F, G, and I.
D, E, F, G,
and I.
Okay.
I second that motion, Marge.
Thank you. Thank you, Dana. Okay, let's vote.
Chair Merzick,
Yes.
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Now we want to vacate, a motion to vacate within 15 days.
Yes.
Can I make that motion?
Yes.
Which one now?
Same building, a motion to have the building vacated
all right. Okay.
within 15 days.
Okay. I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, let's vote.
Chair Merzick,
Yes.
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yes.
Passes.
Great, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Now we need to approve the minutes from their two previous meetings. Our two March meetings. I make a motion to approve the minutes from May 5th and May 12th.
Is it May 5th or March?
Or I'm sorry, March 5th and March 12th. Thank you. Getting a little punchy here.
I second that motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then finally, code enforcement.
No, let's call, Chair, let's call the roll.
Yes, okay, thanks.
Chair Merzick,
Yes.
Commissioner Palmer,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Levinson.
Yes.
Passes.
Great, thanks. So Steve, Joe, and John, any additional reports you'd like to give us? How are our blighted properties doing?
So the restoration agreements that we had in place, obviously I've gotten multiple people who've called me and said, I haven't been able to meet this due to the COVID pandemic. I think what we're going to have to do is touch base, maybe with the city attorney, and find out if we need to get newly signed restoration agreements.
Okay, that's a good question. Go ahead.
I had a question, actually. One of the things that we tabled was 40 River Street way back in March.
Oh, that was way back,
That
yeah.
was supposed to be a blighted property.
I know which ones you're talking about, yep.
Did we? Vote on it, but
I thought we acted on that.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we voted to have that blighted.
40 River Street?
Yep.
I can remember what happened with that one. That is the property that never gave us an updated mailing address, but apparently he's living with his daughter on Luther Street.
Yep.
And on that particular mailing, it was sent to 40 River Street, which we would normally do anyway, until I found out that he actually lived at Luther Street.
41 Luther,
In the
yeah.
meantime, he has attempted minor property maintenance. He mowed part of the front yard, and I had given it to the contractor, and he said, "Do you want me to go ahead and finish it off?" And I told him not to at the time because I wanted to see if this owner is actually starting to get interested in the property again.
Yeah, because that house was vacant and we held it. I have a note that we were supposed to hold it till April.
Right.
Still had my paperwork that said it, so I
got
wasn't.
mine right in front of me too.
Well, that's a good question. All right, well, let's put that on our agenda for the July meeting.
Okay, and then I had a second question. Sorry, everybody. I know it's after 5.
That's okay.
The other property that I had in question was 77 East Street. We had talked about it. That was vacant. It was a while ago. We hadn't taken any action.
Oh, the old store.
The old store, yeah. Now there's a bunch of crap in front of it.
Yeah, I noticed they got a bunch of trailers out there and a bunch of stuff
that.
loaded out in front. And
Yeah.
Yep. saw that the other day.
I don't know if they're maybe removing some of that stuff. I mean,
That's what it appears, that the doors are open. It looks like work is being done inside. I mean, that doesn't excuse leaving trash around. I mean, there's still a freezer around the side of the building.
yeah.
We,
Unfortunately, from them, I own a house right around the corner now. So, then-
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so would you follow up on that one? And we'll also put that one on our agenda for July.
Yeah, sorry.
Right, that's fine. Any other items, folks? I apologize for some of the inconsistent paperwork that I gave you. You know, it has been a little tricky and it's entirely on me and not on anybody at City Hall. Everybody at City Hall has been excellent.
It was all good, Marge. I appreciate
So,
you. It's a lot
and-
easier to have paper.
Yeah. And we will get, I will be getting you information on the water and sewer appeals between now and July. Because we can't get into any of the properties to do testing. Some of them are going to require the meters be tested. So we'll just have a lot on that meeting. Okay, anything else, folks?
That was all I had.
All right, thank you, Dana, for keeping us on track as you always do, and I really appreciate it. So glad you're on the board. All right, thanks very much. I think this meeting has been successful, and I
Barring
appreciate
all problems,
all
yeah.
It went well.
your presences. All right, thanks very much, Carrie, for getting us on track.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carrie.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day, guys.
All right, thank you, Carrie, so much.